as our love situations, because as Muslims, our creation is to make our existence meaningful. And love is a serious issue that we can't just allow ourselves to be misguided or teleguided or to be misinformed or deformed by how people go about the issue of love making, love proposals, and so on and so forth. So when we say lovers in this context, we are looking at two people whose hearts are burning and bonding. The hearts are burning and bonding, either virtually or physically. But there are times the so-called lover from the other side is not even seen. They've not even met each other. And when that happens like that, the love will still be there. That's one miracle about love, that you can't see the cord, you can't see the cable, and your heart is beating. Aha. That, of course, we see as one of the ways by which love goes. Now, lovers, like I said, the heart become the whole place is the heart, is the where the graphic where the graffiti is is happening. So they bond, and of course they want to talk to each other, they want to meet each other, and of course there's a pressure at a point to have a feel of the skin. The pressure that, okay, I will want to meet this person. I want to look at the eyeballs. I want to clap their hands. I want to touch the skin, and so on and so forth. So that is that. And there are times again that one will be a lover, lonely lover, that the person you so love that is burning your heart is not even aware or is even far away. Yes, it's possible that you love somebody and of course he's not even aware and is far away. So it's a form of love too. That's, by the way, who the lovers are. Those, if you have somebody your heart is burning for, then is your lover. You have somebody you are bonding with, is your lover. Then the question will now arise, what kind of love is it that you have established? Now, where do they meet? You don't just get to love somebody in the blues. There must be a point of meeting that makes you to meet a lover. First one is that it could be through the social media, which is very common these days. We have several thousands, if not millions of sites where issues of love are the subject matters. So some could come together through the social media, through the love sites, through matchmakers, online, on Facebook, and many others. Then some could meet during programs. It could be any kind of calls. They start moving together and doing many things. Or again, it could be through link. Maybe the link could be your lover's brother or your lover's sister or a friend to somebody or a mentor. It could be any means. A link that will connect you with the person. You don't know the person really, but somebody is there to link you with the person. That one too could be a platform upon which lovers meet. It could be while you're in school, secondary, high institutions, it yourself. There could be through even mosque. Maybe you come to the mosque and casual looks at times. Some will just feel that maybe spiritually, Allah showed me my lover. That's why I met her in the masjid. Then of course some they could have dream. Maybe they had a dream, and in the dream you saw that I saw Halima, I saw Aisha in my dream, and that could make him to now be conscious that this dream maybe has the first time, second time, this must be real and I have to pursue to fruition. It's possible at times that way, but that of course is subject to many things because dream, you are not a prophet to conclude that your dream was true. Then in the streets, could be in parties, clubs, functions, could be lessons. Like some students at times after school, they go to lessons. In the lesson, there are casual interactions, and that could be served as a platform upon which they meet and they start to, start to show love to each other. But all these platforms, environments where you met have their various implications for love. For example, some platforms could be deceptive or be a camouflage that you may not be able to establish on time because you have allowed yourself to be carried away by love. And love at times, if you are not careful, you will be like somebody who kept his brain outside to enter room of love. If you have kept your brain outside, you now enter a love room, it's likely you will fumble and wobble and tumble. So that is why when you talk of real love, you don't just let any environment determine how you go about it. So that could be problem of camouflage, deception. In that case, someone will take advantage of, okay, we've met ourselves and the reason could be different. Then also, it could be somebody could suffer bully at times. When you fall a victim, maybe love at size, platonic love, and things like that. So just fall a victim. Before you realize, you could have gone far, and the person could have taken advantage, having some pictures, some images, some recordings, some audio, some videos that what is the way you have composed yourself. For example, if a sister in a job, just so driven by blind love to have fallen for probably a non-Muslim, so to say, that she could not resist the hug or whatever. And this person know her values. So if she has fallen a victim, maybe as Kiza, they had romance and things like that. So if she now decided to realize that this one, this is maybe somebody cancels her that who knows about it and cancels that, she now wants to withdraw. That person can say, you can't go anywhere. See, I have these things with me. And this will not be between, it's either I continue secretly or I get exposed that the whole world will know. That's the mistake we make. Why not let the whole world know and rescue yourself from the wrath of Allah? That is one angle. At times, somebody may find himself and become the bullied. Then at times, the situation in which you start your love can determine whether it will be broken or unbroken at times. There's some situation at times where you start steady love will be make your marriage love leads to something else, could make maybe a lasting love that leads into marriage and things like that. Then there are times when some love at times will the platform upon which you meet will leave room for reconciliation. So if the platform upon which you met was a messy situation, then it may not allow a kind of reconciliation in the event that you get married later because maybe you did everything on your own, people were not aware, and so on and so forth. So, and at times too, he said that sin is believing. You just love somebody you have never met before you know you have concluded, you are doing virtual marriage, you are packing to go to Canada, to Australia, to Austria to meet the person. You'll be unfortunate that when you get there, you can be disappointed. So that's just some of the few ways or environment people meet and become lovers, and we have explained the implications too. Now, how do they meet? They met in school, they met in the eye, anywhere they have met. Now, because the issue is what lovers, of course, as you have said, in the eye. So, and with that very one again, we are saying that is talking about the phenomena where people just carry out the issue of love anywhere. Now, we have just explained that it can happen in some environment. Now, the question we're asking is, how do they meet? The first thing is that they met probably on Facebook, And of course, how did they start there? Be my friend, be your friend, something amusing you. You like the look, the post, the pictures, what was shared on Instagram. You follow the person on Facebook, and so on and so forth. You realize that it can be the plan. That is for every lover. They must have the point, the place, the environment at which the love was concretized or ignited. The ignition must have the point it happened. Individually, you may have the clicks of love in the heart, but there will be a particular point that will be the climax. Okay, we now connect, we now bond, we now agree, we are now together. That is that one. Beside that, again, it could be you could meet on academic background. Maybe you were in the same class, you are teaching the person, or you attend the same lessons. So that circumstance that brought you together could be the person upon which you met too. Then it could be through a counselor, a mentor who feels that this person will keep probably moving towards marriage. Because lovers in Islam, of course, when you say lovers, we're talking of people moving towards marriage in a way. Then too, it could be through a mentor, a counselor, a friend, a person who knows about your problem and want to assist in a way. Then it could be through activism. Maybe you're active in the Muslim society, in an Islamic organization, you are active, something that makes you to be seen, to be known. Somebody can be attracted to you. You are you are a social club, social community, or whatever. Then through socialization, by social functions, you have cause to interact together. Your school, you are the one sent together to represent the school for one thing or the other. So all those interactions may be silent, but they tend to build. Maybe, for example, now, like a case of a girl who they acted drama, the boy, the girls, and that acting of drama just made her to a kind of feeling for the other guy. Then, of course, at times, it could be through unguided interactions that somebody just carefree, laissez-faire, that they just feel that does not matter. It does not matter. And before you know, you're already burning for the person. And of course, it will be through welfare concern. Somebody just feel that you want to pay the school fees, you want to, you need a problem, you want to solve the problem, you want to help in admission, you want anything that you want to do that you may even have a good intention initially, but Shaitan has a way of, of poisoning one's intention. Before you know, you are talking of, okay, let's move to the next level. That's about some of the how do they meet. Now, how do they start? Some may start as friends, just friends, Facebook is good at that. Some, even these days, so they tell you, you're just my friend, and they'll start with just a friend. That's one. Some again, they will start by real proposal. They just come straight, and this one is coming to propose that he wants to marry you. And of course, it's not left to you to decide, say yes or no. And we talk about proposals in the past, how it's done today that is faulty in a way. Then someone will come, they will start with courtship. Now we have agreed, let's start to keep our things secret, or let's be, knowing ourselves further, and so on and so forth. They start to have long courtship, interacting, moving together. Then some again who start their love life through fornication. They have met, they have concluded, they have loved each other, they've been hanging out, they've been doing many things together, and before you know, they've not married. They're already going to bed. Lovers in the eye. You realize that Islam protects both sides, protects the male, protects the female from falling into haram. That's why in Quran chapter 17, Surah Al-Isra, verse 32, Allah says, La taqrabu zina. Allah says, don't just go there. When you go there, it's likely you may not be able to free yourself from the shackle of what you're going to fall when it comes to that. So some will end up as lovers in fornication. And when they do the first one and they enjoy it, they go for the second one, for the third one, for the fourth one. At a point, they will lose count of how many ranks of the body counts. They will lose count of their morality. At a point, they will now lose complete hope that why you can't stop again. I've done it before. Let me just continue committing the sin. It should not be so. Allah is not like human being. La taqun rahmatillah. If you have made a mistake, Don't continue them, especially if you have committed a serious sin like fornication. You don't have to say that, let me just continue. You just need to step back and be repentant to free yourself. Then again, just one of the ways by people fall in there, they start their love life. Then when people start love, where do they go? Don't forget, we are straying how love sagas, go. Now, some, when they are now in love, they've met each other, they've discussed, they've concluded, they are seeing themselves, they are meeting, they are texting, they are calling. And the more all those things are happening, the closer the bonding, the bonding, the concern. Good. Now they start to hang out. They hang out, they go to recreations. Some at times, this an area you have to note very well. Some will, in the name, because some men could at times, either men or a man or woman or either of the sides could be a victim or the other way. If it is a woman that is so, pressing and is so bothered about it, she may decide to use different tricks to make the man fall for a trick. Or it can be the man also may decide to make them meet in an odd place outside the environment. That's another agenda. Some men who just, for example, now, if it's in Lagos, they can leave Lagos and move down to maybe a place like Ibadan. Or so that the environment they will go, they can't track them. They can't trail them. They can't just cover the, nobody can just know the cover the tracks. Some can do that, such that by the time you are probably you are in an environment they know you or not. Person with suspicion that somebody could knows them could meet them. So the one when you are not outside the environment they know you, the tendency to fall is high. That's why a lady must not take chances. For such, even when you are falling a victim, you are in love by error of omission or commission, then you don't deepen it. If you now follow a man, probably it gives you time, let's finish so place, we just go around. So you have to be careful of that. Then they hang out at the beach side, lagoon sides, and so on and so forth. Then some again, they go to clubs, they've not married. You can see the lifestyle people are living today because they say they are lovers. Shaitan is just their, is their far. So they go to clubs, they go to parties. Some again, these days is the phenomenon now is people go to the swimming pools. You see what happens in the swimming pools, young girls naked, swimming together, hugging themselves, and doing unwholesome things inside the water. The last says in the Quran that chapter 29, verse 45, that Zuhal Fasadu Filibari Bahari. We can say today that there's fashad as fornication in the water, that useful as a place to go now. Even some are doing it, they are doing it as a kind of to do together. There's no shame. There's no shame. Rasul said that if you are shameless, do evils in the public, and these people are not bothered. So, and people are seeing it and they're admiring the evil. Then some again, they go to the eateries, you buy her this, you buy her a very big, chunk of maybe turkey or whatever, some kind of chocolate, some kind of yogurt, and of course, some who are maybe depending on their orientation and training, they feel that they are enjoying life. All those things you are doing, you are cooling you are fanning, not cooling now, you are fanning the ember of the love. It will be increasing because the moment the memories will be ringing on you, the kind of way you talk, how you the smile, those memories will be deepening the love. Then that of course is an aspect there. Some people go to hotels, they are not married, they just want to just gyrate. Let us be free. Let us just enjoy life. And those who are not having very good backgrounds, they fall for such. Then they said that if this one has implications, when a woman or a man decides to just go to all places, to involve in things like this, eventually your life may be at risk. In a case, for example, you are in love, nobody is aware, and the male counterpart has agenda, maybe it's a ritualist, You may not even know. He can spend any amount on you. He can do any sacrifice, but he knows where he's going your life. We have several cases, that can happen. Look at the case of Cynthia then, that the business partners, many cases like that people, fall a victim. Then also, you could be raped. Zina could happen too. Some could just be gang raping, then some zina could occur when you go with such like that. That is one angle. Now, for our youth on campuses, these days in colleges of education is becoming, a very unwholesome development that children who are sent to go and learn find their institution, their rooms to a brothel. Some of them, they're so shameless that they feel what they get from their parents are not enough, and they just feel that, yes, I must augment. You augment with your morality, with your modesty, with your decency, with what Allah has called a trust in you. When the Quran says in Surah Al-Ahzab, Allah says that inna aradna al-amanata ala as-samawati wal jibal. In some tafsir they say the amana is your private part that you must protect. That is why when you look at your eyes, Allah is an amana. There's a cover for the eyes. When you look at your tongue, there's a cover for your tongue. Your private part, it's kept in a hidden place. But the amana, your hands are exposed. Your head is, other things are exposed in your body. So on campuses, a lot of things we see, and not all that we see in the streets have the seal of Islam. That's one thing we want to emphasize on our show tonight, Lovers in the Aisle. Not everything we see in the streets has the seal of the deen. But these days, we are not bothered to clarify, to find out, to research into what Islam says. We just follow crowds. And Rasul said, La takunu ima. Don't be follows. Don't be copycats. And that is the area I want us as youths to note very well. Now, on campuses, schools, secondary, tertiary, there's a phenomenon of crush. Crush can come in any form that you see somebody you are burning for. The next thing you want to do is to realize, to a kind of get closer, a kind of realize the dream of that crush. No. When you pursue crush, you become crushed. So what you need to do is to consult so that, you end up because at times some start love saga because of just infatuation. At the long run, when they have become so deep inside it, if they even continue, they may end up regretting in their lives. Lots of women that men have told a lot of love, saga, love tours, love. You've seen that plenty on the internet. There, just Google love tours, you see a lot of things. Some books are written for that. They teach you how to express those things. He has memorized everything. So when those situations like that, people fall at the long run. It's not really after taking home as a wife or anything. But when you don't, we're not patient to live your modest life, there will always be a kind of regret. So crush is real. It's really real. But what do we do? You must always realize that you are a Muslim or Muslimah. You are accountable to your actions. Yawm al-Qiyamah, you will be questioned about how you live your life. Rasul told us that there are 4 questions you are going to answer. One of such questions is what? An umurihi fima afnahu wa an jasadihi fima ablahu. You will be asked your life. How did you spend it? Then your body, on what was it used for? You have to be careful. 2, on campuses, people want to catch attention with their dressing, to kill, to cut a dash, with everything they do. At times you're in the same class, some of them do some funny things, just creating a comedian environment, a laughing situation, a kind of unwarranted, unsolicited stories, just adjusting the trousers, adjusting the shoe, clean the shoe, buying a kind of shiny wristwatches, changing the hijab, coming in different colors, walking a different way, talking a different manner, a mannerism that was never existing before. You want to just show that you can speak the English, and it's just to do a lot of funny things, only to attract attention. There's that phenomena of attention, I know, solicitation when it comes to the issue of what? Lovers in the aisle. Then also, the issue of mobile phone is a real phenomena of love saga, whereby some, of course, they send their toast, their proposals, their messages. There are some of such messages. There's no you read that they will not affect you, because the way they will compose them, most are just lazy, of course, they will not compose. They just copy from the internet, they copy from some books, and they throw it to you. And they send at the time that your brain is cool, so it can penetrate and pierce your heart. You read such messages, you don't realize that you are no more yourself. You'll be destabilized. You see, if you have not solved the problem, it's a different thing. But when some men send love messages to them, toast, it scatters, it diffuses their life, that for that day, they won't be themselves. It's either, for those who is decent, who is morally conscious, then it's not an issue. There are some there that you fall for such. Then some campuses, we read how eventually some will become cook for unmarried person. On campuses, a lady going to a brother, going to a male's room to help him cook. He will some help to wash, because they are lovers. We have promised we are going to marry ourselves. That's just it. So with that very one, Abidu and Abida have met between them all, that they have not even, their parents are not in the picture at all. They already concluded that they are married each other. And the father has the right to say no. So a lady must always be conscious of that. You can't start any law conclusion, probably you want to marry, without starting with your dad or your mom that this is what you plan to do. So before you go too far, you will have known the signals they will give. We are not supporting, we are not approving, we are not. No, you will have known. You will have invested your heart in it. But most ladies, due to naivety, due to unwanted kind of love saga, they invest all their life. By the time the parents now say no, they now say that why should it be so? You don't have right to proceed without their consent, because the father has that very cool one of giving the permission. So even some again, they would, like mentioned, that they would try to just please you. You can try to be your seatmate, reading mate, tutorial class, not because of anything, but because of the agenda they have up their sleeves. So it's not good at all. As a lady visiting a brother, whatsoever reason, in his room, in his hostel, no matter the reason, if you have cause for a genuine reason, you don't have to go alone. That is a principle a lady must have, even a brother too. Why must you go alone to go and visit his sister, who you don't know what she has in her mind? So that you have to know very well. It's dangerous. There's also a scenario of a sister or two people who, of course, as we talk of lovers now in the eye, they've concluded arrangement they will marry each other. The story goes that the lady has been coming to his room. She knows almost everywhere. At times they eat together. Just that she take him, she was turned on. She felt that, let me just ease myself to down. Before any man does come around, she knows he kept the key. He never knew she was even around. Just enter, just the door was open, and before she just jumped on him, and that was it. So it could be the other side too. It might just come. He has been coming to your house, just come that very day. He was coming, and this day felt that no, I can't just go empty-handed, and start to as if you're and bouncing over you like a kind of a hungry lion. So that you have to be careful of. So you don't have cause to cook for him. In Ramadan, they ask questions. Can somebody eat a girlfriend's food? And these are questions of on seriousness, question of indiscipline, question of people who don't know what they are doing. So you don't have cause to, things like that. Then some will start reading together, traveling together. If you start doing all these things and you are not, it has implications, it has effect, because it will be deepening that relationship. This is tutorial class, a different thing entirely. But it's don't be happy that you just pick a brother every time you want to be discussing with him, you want to be reading with him, you want to sit in it. No, that will be dangerous for you. Then some start to have deep talks. They've not married. Deep talks, when I say deep talks, I mean deep talks, asking questions about color of the undies, color of this of that. And when it start to happen, it's going somewhere. Then halwa, seclusion, is dangerous. Prophet has warned that you should not be alone with the opposite sex. Then some, you may end up sexting, doing sexting, sending images of their private whatever. You should know that there are millions of fake love emojis in music album that if you fall for such, definitely, or level celebrities who are some of them are only living ghosts. You will see those fake live, and before you know, you want to copy. They do know that it can make your love hit the rock. That you have to note. Now, there are several cases and scenarios of lovers in the aisle. One is some while on campus, they can promise each other that they will be husbands and wife. We have read stories that at the long run, the man has some opportunities. He has a greener pasture to fly to, and before you know, the lady was left to be in the dark, and that was the end. So some ladies may suffer that way. Or in the male too, a man will spend on her that okay, so and so she'll promise she'll come back to marry him, and before you know, lady was nowhere to be found. She has found a new lover. So on campuses, our ladies must be careful, of just concluding so-called campus marriage. Is nonsense, arrant nonsense. Is highly irresponsible. Of a child who comes from decent home will never do that. And that's a slap on the training your parents have given you. To just go to marry campus and feel that you are married. And again, it doesn't make any common sense that somebody just meet you in the street, he is kneeling down for you, bring into your finger, say yes, say yes. Say yes, you with a baby. I don't know. I don't want to use that the words slap for it. So why should we be a discipline? Somebody just meet you for the first time or he has behind you, just say yes, putting into your finger. Marriage, of all things, you know what you invest in trying in your academics, in some choices in life, just a kind of transaction or a kind of what will be part of your life for life. That one should be based on just ordinary emotion and ordinary sentiment. It's not done that way. So campuses, we must avoid that. Then, in a case you've even by error or whatever form concluded that you marry each other, it's not a license for you to even start to meet yourself, going to visit yourself in in your rooms or whatever. Like I mentioned earlier, some did that, it backfires, the boomerangs, and at long run, it was not easy for some like that. For Muslim ladies over there, please and please, there are some nauseating, reports at times that you see a Muslim girl getting impregnated for even a Muslim. At times for a Muslim, which, both are evils, but one is worse. How would you, Muslima in hijab, jilbab, whatever, will not learn that it was Paul or John or somebody who was behind the screen? Is horrible. Knowing the Quran verse, we Allah says even haram. The first haram is that that is haram. Two is that for females, you don't marry non-Muslims. So you can see that for you to have gone ahead for such, it shows the level of your depravity, wantoness, libertine life, that it shows one has become so useless that you now open labs for a non-Muslim. It shows there's no iman in you to a level. It shows your Islamic orientation is lacking. So I'm not justifying that. You can as well allow a Muslim male to do same. Both are haram. Issue, of course, you have to note. Then you should be careful of triggers and boosters. There are several triggers. For a brother, be careful. Sister always coming around, asking you questions, asking you some personal questions, suggestive, postures. You know something is coming. He's always after your welfare. How was the night? Have you eaten? They had a nice dream. You know how they do it, how she just be showing some signs that when she leaves the scene, then you have a flashback, and that you will recall all the things that happened when she was there one by one, because the eyes of men captures love scenes more than how female will capture it. So be careful of letting triggers like that affect you. And for a female too, male may show concern. You must know the red lines that you must not cross. When you cross the red lines through his speeches, through his actions, through some things, then that's ma salam if you know what you are doing. Beside that, in some cases at time, you realize that you know the kind of jokes, the kind of things you discuss or messages you send, you must be able to spot that this person has something up his sleeves. Beside that again, the charts, the messages, the symbols, the pics it sends to you. Then somebody just send you pic, kissing images or emojis and things like that. Then you must know that something is gradually trying to test the microphone, and it's left for you to decide where you want to be as a lady or male. Then also on any demands, one time you have ever married somebody, you're already making demands. Buy me this, buy me that. So female, I just don't know how from the home they come from, asking a man to buy this, buy that. No. When you start to do that, then it shows you are sheep. And male will take advantage of that, and before you know, you are gone. You have to be careful of that. And for male too, when even at times you have somebody you want to marry, you're a lover to somebody, you must be able to spot when she's making unending demands. They have not even married her. They probably she's a gold digger or she's something else. You must spot the taste of what you want from the way things come. And we have not married, you are just still moving towards it. And you can make a U-turn at times. When you will have seen some signal, this person, you have not gone far, this is what you are saying by consulting appropriately. So what you watch, what you share, what you read, and so on and so forth, of course, tell the nature of your built home and future. So don't think just it ends here. The way you handle it shows where you are going. So in Islamic way, what do we do? The first step is for you to realize that lovers in the eye is not a phenomenon that is welcomed by Islam. You are in love, you just keep on moving in the streets, hugging yourself. You're not married. Even if you are married, there's a level of decency in Islam. But you allow yourself, a man pick you to the wall somewhere, you are talking for hours, you start together, you're talking for hours, you're in the bus stop, you're talking for hours in an abandoned building, you are there together, you know all those things. That's what we see today almost everywhere. Is a bad phenomenon. You don't have to fall for such. So what do you do as Muslim? One, you start with prayer. If you actually want to fall in love for marriage, then because there's no reason for being lovers when you are not having marriage as your agenda. There's no reason for lovers that you conclude that you are lovers. No, there's no reason for that. So that is one. Well, start with dua, get Allah involved. Then start with right intention that this is how I want to meet because I want to have her as my wife. I've seen some qualities I like in her, what they have said about her. That's a good intention that will now make you to go towards her. Not because this person, I can munch, I can do this. Three is that you call it start with in the right place. Don't go and start your love for future, for marriage in a beer parlor, in a club, in a party, at the beach side. No, the environment you start the love may likely spiritualize the way your marriage will go. So you have to be careful of which place, which environment. Then you equally consult the right person. When you actually find a love that you feel you want to go with, let somebody you feel a confident be aware. Don't make it something you decide, or before you decide, have a confidant you can share your thoughts with. Then the next one is that meet the right person. You must, male and female must know who should I fix myself with. Marriage is a kind of trust. Marriage is a contract for life. So you need to know the kind of person you are fixing yourself up with. So that's why you can't just do it alone. Then, when you have actually found somebody, you have taken the right step, you consulted, you connected Allah, then you don't delay. You don't delay without reason. That you have to note very well. Delay may be dangerous because you can fall a victim of zina. Then don't go anywhere, secret, because you are just want to meet yourself and do other things like that. That one too will not help in any way. You have to know that Islam is protecting you from such. Then, in a case you are in love, you can't just do it alone. There's be a third party. That's why the issue of phenomenon of parents come in. You cannot even start calling somebody's daughter without the father being aware. But that's how most people do it. It's to protect the female. But that you have to note very well. Then you must always know, people know where you are. When you are in love. Okay, we are in love. We want to go and see want to go to this very place. How should you there? Somebody that has not married you, making demand on you like your husband, as if it's your husband already, giving instructions, giving directives, you're like obedient wife, is trying to train a test whether I go. No, 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 no. Instructions, obedience becomes valid when the right thing has been done. When the right thing has not been done, obedience will never be valid. So you have to know that everyone as a male or female. So then you must be careful of going to distant places. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, now we have addressed the topic, lovers in the hour. Now you know where you met your lover. You know whether you don't have any lover. You know how far you have gone. You know which barrier you have broken or you have not broken any barrier. You know what thoughts are going on in your mind. But if you have not fallen victim in any way, then you have been enlightened. So take the right steps. In a case you have fallen a victim in any form, it's left for you to retrace your steps and see if there could be a kind of a damage control, because once you have not died, there's room for repentance, for penitence. You don't have to lose hope. And for females who are young, who are teenagers, a lot of advantage taken are outside there by the male, who at times will appear, several cases, young ladies, school leavers, and unlike that, those in the other levels, you just feel this person is a person you can trust. Before you know, it's a mistrust. You have to be careful, and you must be fair. That's why you must have eagle eyes and understand how the whole thing work. I pray to Allah in infinite mercy to make us sojourn well in our love saga. So this way we are stopping today, inshallah, for us to ask questions. If you have, you can drop it here so that we can treat those questions before we round off for tonight. For Jazakumullah khair. That's what signify if you have questions. Shukran lakum. Okay, there's a these are just okay, that's just summary of talk. Thank you very much. One day I to summarize the way out to have just mentioned, dua, right intention, and things like that. Jazakumullah khair. Barakallahu fikum. So you have questions, you can drop your questions before we round off for this period. Inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. So I want to believe we had ourselves. You have questions, you may ask so that we can attempt them if there are. Jazakumullah khaira. So in the next 1 or 2 minutes, there are no questions. That is to say that we'll be drawing the curtain for tonight. We want to thank everybody for coming. We have our sisters and brothers.
Question.
Oh, thank you very much. Is talking stage, okay, what is it? Okay, it's talking stage allowed. Yes, maybe if I get your question, in fiqh, there's what they call the khitbah, whereby somebody want to marry, right? The first, if the right step has been taken, that okay, want to marry each other, that is to say that the parents, the sharia is that the parent must be in the know from inception. In fact, in ideal khitbah, you can't just go and talk to a lady permission must have been sought from the father or somebody who is presenting that very end that this is what you want to do. They will not make provisions for you to meet their daughter. That is how it is done. Either that has been done, then there could be arrangement of how you will now be interacting, discussing issues. I forgot to mention that in discussing these issues, it's not just talk. I've not married. Anything can happen. You may end up not marrying again. So you have to be careful of your discussion. So the content must be clear. You must have what you want to discuss. What are we talking about? Our plan, our career. Not just every time you gather yourself, you don't even know what to say. If you don't know what to say, you will talk the few good things you have. The nonsense will not follow. So talking stage about the khitbah. When you want to marry, then you make arrangement when, where, how do you want to meet, be an open place, content and things like that should be well noted. And should not be just something you'll be talking every hour, every second. No, you're not yet husband and wife. There should be element of what, yes, you have said the if the actual has not been done, then you have to be very, very careful in going ahead. If one's parents are those that aren't religious to the part that they know that they will have to take part in the marriage from the start, like being a wali and so on, how do I, as a male, female, let them know this, that I don't have to date someone or I can find? So I think the point, some of us went through that thing you are mentioning. So that's why you need to have a communal interactions. Wherever you find yourself, the brothers and sisters in the environment, organize yourself. So that very one, it's easier for you to manage your affairs. Yes, so most parents don't even understand. Some even prefer you be impregnated before they even get to know about it. So it's a function of the environment you are. So when the environment parents don't even understand, then that's why when there's a community existence or communal existence, there's a way you can make arrangements, then the parents can now be told afterwards. That's what I think I can advise there. How do we get to know our partners as Muslims? The reality is that we can't actually know somebody fully. That's why dua is a horror. They are very important. Then counselors or mentors or confidants who can help us to find out about somebody. You can't know somebody on your own. Somebody can confirm that who are married today. When you were before you got married, you know how things was. But now you got married, so it's a different ball game. So what you can do is through those who could make environmental scan and bend double. They're in a world filled with immorality. As a university student, I know the menace youth are committing. I mean, personally, I think it is important to get to know the woman I would love to spend the rest of my life with. How are we to go about this? Or is it advisable? Let me get again. Or is it advisable? What's it again? Is it advisable? Let's see the question again. Okay. Okay, is it advisable to marry someone who may end up pretending and later showing their real color? You see, this is an area I say the dua is important. If you also, for example, I saw a sister, there's one sister, Khadija, you just feel you love, you've seen her coming to the mosque, she's attending the madrasa, so good. So now, you don't feel that this sister is a mashallah sister. Because mashallah, inshallah, mashallah, brothers like that. So, yes, the first thing to go to consult Allah. If you are sincere with Allah, Allah will always guide you out. Because the issue of marriage is not easy. In terms of the stage, some girls today, if you ask them, will they have loved marry the person they will say no. If you ask some men to the same thing, it's not an easy thing at all. So what you just need to do is what? To make your dua, then carry somebody along that you can find out some things about some people. Like there's a way of getting information about people. So that one too, they can assess one. You can't just jump into these days. You can't just jump into marriage without making proper investigation or whatever you want to do. Then another person asks that it appears that the youths of nowadays, particularly undergraduates and school leavers, do not have role models or people admonishing them on higher institutions, and so they are left to be admonishing themselves. Is this a very, very good point? So I think our campuses, our schools, mentors are important in life. So in nowadays in schools, yes, what you are saying that advising themselves is when the elders don't do their job. Ordinarily, the job start from home, not even on campus. Campus is kind of an aberration. it's supposed to be kind of addendum, a kind of what do you call it now? Something just to support the effort at home. Is the role is from home. Every home must prepare the child for society. Campuses, schools, just to kind of argument. But in a case where the parents have not, they don't know what to do, no mentor around, then what they can do is, then it's like when you have a village where there's no doctor. So what they can do, if you have a communal living, they can, someone who is more matured and elderly, they can always get mentors from distance who they can always consult for what to do. So I think such people should identify the problem, get a counselor they can discuss with. And for every environment, we can't give the same solutions. You cannot say, okay, you, these people, this is how to go about these other things. And with that very one, if you have cause to bring somebody around to their campus environment, maybe these are some of the things, kind of a way to go about it. They'll be coming around once in a while. That can help them to look at the issue. So I think that's the last question. Okay, how can one differentiate one's feelings between love, loss, of attribution? You see, the issue here is this. Love, the issue of love is that the intention will be clear that this sister, I would love to marry her. It will be clear in your heart that I'm going to this brother, to this sister for marriage. That's clear, whatever. In the case that you just have one, that's one you'll have known that you sign of, for example, now, just year one, yeah, you even after you don't have enough stipend for school, just they're thinking of marriage at your young. No, it should go to be an issue. So in a case whereby you are, of course, maybe you are final years, you're in finals, you are in service, if no, I don't want to commit fornication and the wife, that kind of situation is with love. But in the case whereby just year one or you're in SS3, just you see a girl, you are just dying for the girl. Even at time SS1, you are dying for the girl. That is infatuation and a loss. You just feel, yeah, even a baby person, how will you become a parent? So is the thin line, there's a thin line, but if it's where you have the mind that I'm going into this love because of marriage, that's very, very clear. Because when it is infatuation, you see it coming and going, coming and going, coming and going, you'll not be so sure. At times it will be changing. Today it will be maybe Aisha, tomorrow it will be Kabira. So that's kind of showing that the love is not stable. May Allah assist us. And there's a question to that. I and my colleagues were arguing about a brother who has spent a lot on his sister with the intention of getting married to her. Fine. So the sister changed and she didn't get married to the brother. Should that brother collect everything he has spent on the sister, or has become disability? One is that was there agreement between them that she will marry him? If there was an agreement, then an agreement is an agreement. That is one. And that agreement too, was it valid? If it was valid, who were those in the know? Is it between just two of them? Between two of them, that's what's called the Golo in Yoruba parlance. That you lock up a kind of a rat inside a tin. So that's why you don't make it something sick. Somebody must be in the know. That will help. In the case she even want to slack or go back, then somebody can call them to attention. The first one is if they've agreed that they are going to each other, even you have made the mistake of not carrying everybody along, and they have not committed any haram, and they've agreed and it's due to an agreement, she has to pay back. Unless they began and because of love was burning and no any agreement, just felt like this girl sister, let me just spoil her with money, then I'll not marry her. If there's no agreement, you don't start a call fisabilillah. If it won't be removed because nobody sent him to do that. But you are just, if you are, maybe sometimes you start with good intention, sister is in need, you have the cause to assist her. Along the line, she can just develop. That's in at times some men have that kind of a challenge. So where it's a matter of agreement and how the thing came up. That's what will determine how they go about that. Then in the course of doing dawah, there are times when a brother and a sister have a task, work together, something that brings them too frequent contact, and over time, one of them may begin to, yes, you are making a very valid point there. That's why we have to be careful. You have to know yourself. When you realize that this task bringing you together is going to affect you, you can confide in those who give the task. Salam alaikum. You don't need to hide because it's about your hereafter. You let them know, I'm sorry, this, always try to avoid that. That is the way. And those of us who give tasks to people too must always think that's why you'll be extra sensitive when it comes to giving a brother and a sister a task. When there's no need for her to be there, you make it more than just a brother and a sister. You know, when you just make a brother and a sister to travel, maybe from Djibouti to Lagos, to go and meet a kind of a patron, you have opened a window for them to start thinking many things together. So if there are two sisters, three brothers, it minimizes that kind of situation. So we should be careful of involving sisters and brothers in what can make them to start thinking of maybe can we fall in love with each other. The other question says, how do I find potential spouse? I know about communities, but I don't know how to. Oh, may Allah, sister, that's a good question. Like I've once advised here is that, once don't lose, your dua should start now. That is the first thing. Then two, wherever you live, it's always easy when you belong to a community. You are maybe an organization, you are in NASFA, you are in Corib, you are in CMC, you are an Alumina, you are an MSS. So it's always easy, or you're kind of estate. In every estate, you can have a community. So issues like that there should be people in charge. So that's one way to go about it. In case you don't have such a thing, then there's some public figures you can consult. Okay, this person should be able to assist. You can confide on this, get across to them. Then they will ask you where you are, what you are doing, because it's always easy to get somebody who has a level of alliance or connection to a place, because it's not just picking anybody from anywhere. At long run, you just be alone. If you pick a brother who has somebody who's his mentor, it's easier to resolve some have a reconciliation in the event of problem. But now, just pick a brother you don't even know his root with his connect with anybody. When problem starts in the marriage, you can't call anybody to talk to him. So I think what you can do is consult wherever you are living. There's some scholars in the environment who you can interact with. In a case where after this, we take one or two more questions for tonight. So subsequently, inshallah, for next episode 2 weeks time, we're still going for our love series is coming up, inshallah. In a case where a brother has the desire to get married to his particular sister, but she's doing something against the will of Allah, how can one correct her without wanting to talk to her personally? Where a brother has to marry to a particular sister, now the question is, what is that thing she's doing against the will of Allah? If it's, at times, is that she's telling lies, she's doing that gravity or what she's doing for a good brother. The gravity of what she's doing will even decide whether you change your mind or not. How will a brother, sister is already flirting about, you still want to go with her? You are allowed to show you the sign. You don't want to move on. With the minor thing she's doing, you feel that this thing could be corrected. It's not a fundamental thing. Then what you can do is that's why when you're going to it, you're not going alone. Those you feel can help you get those who can talk to her. You go extra mile, then you connect her and talk to her. Then you too, somebody you want to be married to become your heartbeat. No, you have to talk to her because it's part of preparations. It's even good you talk to her so that you know how she will take it. Because you've seen something bad that somebody is doing, you now want to avoid facing the mistake. So I think on this note for tonight, inshallah, we are stopping here. I really appreciate us for the questions and coming. May Allah reward every one of us and grant all those who have God lovers. May Allah preserve their lovers and make them very lovely ones. And those who are yet to get lovers, may Allah provide right lovers for them. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.